to the channel. This is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. This is your weekly reading. I'm Stasia Bliss. I'm so happy that you're here. We're going to begin by clearing the energy, and I have a special deck for you guys. Asking for the cards to clear of previous readings and also for us to be open to guidance from Spirit. So this is where each one of you connect in. May the languaging in this reading coming through, the messages that need to reach you come through. So remember, this is a general reading, so there'll be threads in here for you and the rest for someone else. So I appreciate you being here. Today we are going to use the Qi Vesta. This is a deck that came through one of my teachers, Almine. She's like a world-renowned seer, mystic teacher, really connects with interdimensionals. So this is a Lemurian deck, and there is Lemurian language on each card, which I think is kind of cool. And the point of this deck is it's alchemical in nature. So there's 4 decks of 36 cards. 36 times 4 is 144. So it's based on the 144 principle, which is an alchemical number in the alchemical sequencing. And I talked about that a little bit. That's how I wrote my book with these cards, The Alchemy of Relationships. So if you caught that Divine Union Breath of Sacred Relationship video, it's in there. If not, go check it out. So I'm going to pull a card from each of the 4 decks for physical guidance, mental guidance, emotional guidance, spiritual guidance. So there's 4 decks here. You can't see them. I should go like this. And this silk that is on actually also was a gift from my teacher. One of the few times I got to meet her in person. She had a house in Newport, Oregon at the time. I don't think she lives there anymore, but I got to visit with her and receive a beautiful gift. She's quite a lady. All right, so we're going to start for our Pisces. We just had a lunar eclipse in your sign, and we're on our way to the second eclipse, and we just passed the equinox. So this is powerful times, Pisces. So wherever you have Pisces in your chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, those are really potent positions, but also Pisces just represents the spiritual nature, the unconscious mind, the unknown, secrets, hidden things. So you might be watching this for that aspect. It represents the 12th house in everyone's chart, even though you might have a different sign ruling that house for you. There still is this Piscean, Neptunian, a little bit of Jupiter energy there. Jupiter was the ancient ruler of Pisces. Okay, so for the physical layer, physical realm for Pisces this week, what is the concept? Okay. Living beyond boundaries. I think this came up for Virgo. It came up for one of the earlier signs. This is card 21. I always do recommend you check out the opposite signs. So for Pisces, it's Virgo, because it is like the flip side. Virgo's very like mundane, practical, regular world, and Pisces is very like spiritual, etheric, you know. So you can see both sides because those things go back to back. Okay, to live beyond the boundaries of mortality, we must live from the core of our being as a presence as vast as the cosmos, having a human experience. So as I said, these concepts, maybe I started to say, they attune us to oneness. They attune us to the oneness field, the unified field of consciousness. So it is like in the Russian doll stack of you. We have the physical and the mental and the emotional. In yoga, they talk about 5 bodies. In some systems, like Almine systems, talks about 7 or more, right? So to live beyond the boundaries of mortality, to really access more of yourself, then we must live from the core of our being as a spiritual, having a human experience. So placing that in your awareness is grander. So some of you have maybe been focused too much on the physical lately and too much in the body. And of course, we want to do that. We want to focus on embodiment practices as part of this channel, but also doing it as a spiritual being doing it. Okay, so this is like making your physical self more spiritual. This takes some integration and is not always easy, but instead of keeping them separate or just hyper going into spirituality, Pisces, which a lot of Pisces can do easily, it's like bring that spiritual into the physical. Know that you're a spiritual being having a human experience, but have the human experience with that attention, and then you live beyond mortal boundaries. Like suddenly you're an expanded form of you, right? Let's look at the mental component for Pisces this week. What is the mental component to focus on or become aware of? Okay. See behind form. This kind of looks like a crystal image. I'm not reading the Lemurian. As Baruch Meshbi Haraz is the first one, and Rekpa Risetvi Manunas, see behind form. Form and time are connected like two wings of an imaginary bird of linear progression. Okay, because linear progression is false, right? Things don't go really linearly, even though we think that way. So form and time, they make up this pretend bird, right, of linear progression. But when we live in no time, we become unattached to form. So just an example of that for you, Pisces. So living in no time is akin to being present, right? Simply that. Like you're not worried about tomorrow so much, you're not thinking about yesterday, you're just in the now, doing the thing that's present right now. If you're washing the dishes, you're 100% washing the dishes. So then you're in no time, okay? Then in that moment, we become unattached to form. In other words, it doesn't matter how the thing is showing up for us, we're present for however it's showing up, right? Because we're not attached to, oh my gosh, what's this going to turn into? Or where has this been? Or where's this coming from? We are more accepting of how things show up. So mentally saying this week, be aware if you're attaching importance to forms that come from a belief in past and future, right? And just an example in the mundane, let's say things have been going bad with a person, okay? They've been going bad with a person and you're not really talking. Maybe there's even a breakup or a disassociation, you're not talking anymore. And then another person shows up and they're great, okay? So with this card's example, this, like being present with this person is going to be like that's the energy that's trying to come in. It tried to come in through this other person, but it wasn't. So seeing behind form is like, it's the same love that's trying to come through, but if you're not attached to the form, if you're okay the form changing, because you're not like, oh, but I'm worried, I'm thinking about this person. So you can't be present with the new energy, the new form, and you're too busy thinking about the past, you're going to miss the way the form's showing up. So see behind the form. Universe is trying to give you the same thing through all these forms, but sometimes the form has to change because we have to detach from linear progression. Make sense? Let's look at the emotional component there. Emotional component here for our Pisces. That's it. Fulfillment lies in grateful awareness. Wow, this is almost exactly like the Virgo one, I think. Or it's a mix-up with a couple other signs. It might have been, let's see, who do I do right before this? It might have been Aquarius and Virgo both. But this is card 17. 7 plus 1 is an 8, infinity, and it's fulfillment lies in grateful awareness. Grateful awareness. So gratitude is really being emphasized emotionally for whatever's showing up, right? And then you expand your, like, again, beyond the boundaries of mortality. Being as large as the cosmos, having a human experience, that expanded you able to see that any form that shows up is the right one to play out this thing, and to have gratitude for that this week. That's the emotional component, okay? Because here's the deeper thing. The seeming happiness of some living on the treadmill of life is an illusion. So those trapped in the patterning and the linear progression, they seem happy. That's an illusion. Because happiness is not fulfillment of desires, but fulfillment without having desire. So just fulfillment. Happiness is fulfillment, and just deciding that you're fulfilled because you're in the present moment with whatever's here. There can be no lack in the present moment. The present moment is always full, if we're present enough to see it and feel it and experience it. The lack is only like thinking about the past or future. So this week, Pisces is saying, live in grateful awareness. Be aware that your happiness stems from just your choice to feel fulfilled. And that's a second chakra issue, fulfillment, satisfaction. So you might, if you're not feeling that way, you might work with the sound VAM, V-A-M, VAM, VAM. That's the seed mantra or bija mantra for the second chakra. Also the color orange. Orange food, orange clothing. There are some sounds and mantras. You can look up second chakra, sounds and mantras. Also working with ancestral patterns, because that's a lot of what we are dragging behind us and we don't know it. It's just an ancestral thing. And we're still carrying the load and we're repeating it because we forgot, we haven't realized yet maybe to get present with the thing. Okay, let's look at the spiritual component for Pisces. What is the spiritual emphasis that would be most helpful to Pisces? So, change of pace. Change of pace, card 16. Change of pace. 16, 6 and 1 is a 7. So this is a spiritual number. Meneskva visitar. I think I didn't read the last Lemurian again. Kese bahur alas glasvi. That's a tricky one. Okay, change of pace. Let's read the concept that's deeper. Many believe there are key moments we must seize in order to maximize the opportunities of life. Because life is unpredictable, they can only be seen retrospectively and are the unstoppable changes in the pace of the one life, or the larger story, right? So it's really like changing your pace from thinking you're looking for these moments to seize, and because really you can only know that in retrospect. So these are unstoppable changes that life is happening through you. So allowing it and being present with each thing that's opening, right? And not worrying so much, just being with the thing that's opening for you with as much presence as possible. And if it's meant to be a key moment, it will be. And you'll see it when it passes, right? No reason to get hung up on that or worried about missing an opportunity. The truth is here, Pisces, you didn't miss any opportunities. They all have led you to this point. So I appreciate you being here. This is what I've got for you today. You might want to listen to it again. Some of that's kind of deep, but you might like that kind of stuff. I won't use the Qi Vesta every week, but I'd love your thoughts on it. And I will get back to some of the other cards, maybe mix it up, maybe do runes sometime, and just, you know, focus on specific decks. So let me know what you think about that. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you check out all the other content. I'm running a great Divine Union series, the archetypes of the Tarot and Awakening. There's lots of embodiment practices, yogic techniques, and whatnot on this channel as well. So I love you. Thank you for being here, and we'll talk to you soon.